Good afternoon, Mike Powell.
Sir, Mr.
How you?
Williams, how you doing?
Oh, fantastic. How about you?
I'm good to be with you now, man. I'm good to be with you. So, everything is going well.
Did I catch a little head nod?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was about to get into it, man. You cut it off too early.
Oh man, I've been hearing that a lot. Like the past three people that I've had on, I've been catching them like nod.
Yeah, I was vibing out to that one.
That's good. That's good. Hey, that's amazing. So thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. Mike, it's been good to get to know you over the years. What, like
Mhm.
about 2 years? I mean, we indirectly knew each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy how small the world is.
Yeah.
But like formally met almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's been great to watch your journey and the things that you've been doing. And so, Mike, we call this lending with purpose. It's
Mhm.
conversations with our clients and friends, introductions to various forms of professionals like yourself, and resources that we use, that we look for, that we never knew existed, uh,
Yeah.
or that we wanted to learn more about. And so, that's why you're here today. And what started from the beginning of the pandemic a year ago,
Yeah.
just really trying to bring access to my network
Mhm.
to people. And it was like really, like I was talking about last week, really about like job creation.
Mhm.
It was about like helping parents that were at home having to now homeschool their children,
Yeah.
and resources to get information about that. Mike, although I do mortgages, it's more than just a mortgage to me. It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
I could sit on here and talk about interest rates and products and services and things like that. And, sometimes we get into that, but that is not what it's all about for me. Everything has to have some sort of a purpose behind it,
Yeah.
reason for which something exists. And so that's how this all came about. And so before I get you to or ask you to introduce yourself, I'm gonna just tell you a quick story about, today we're here to talk about putting plans into action.
Yeah.
So I don't think I really got serious, Mike, about writing targets and goals and such out until it was probably, let me see, 2014, 2015.
Mhm.
So I went to the ultimate motivator, right? Tony Robbins. I went to an event, a real estate event in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And me and a friend, we went to this event together. He's in business. And so on the way home, he kept asking me, he's like, when we were on the turnpike, he's like, so how's your business plan coming along? I'm like, that's good. I got it. It's going well. And he's like, well, let me see it. And I'm like, well, I haven't really written it yet. And he's like, okay. So my man
Hmm.
pulled over to the side, on the turnpike.
On the turnpike.
He was driving, I was riding on the turnpike, and he's like, well, I want to see it. And I'm like, man, I just haven't written it yet. He's like, cool. Well, you're gonna write it right now.
Wow.
He's like, I know you got your iPad, because I always kept my iPad with me. And he was like, let's get to it. And uh, from Jersey all the
Mhm.
way down to Maryland, we wrote my business plan.
Wow.
And so a bunch of SMART goals and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And,
Yeah.
it was personal. Then we got into some business. Actually, it was a business plan, but then we got into some personal goals and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So from that day on, um, I don't really think I missed a number.
Mm.
If I missed it, I knew why I missed it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like any like the roadmap that I had,
Yeah.
if I didn't get to my destination or my target, I always knew why I
Yeah.
didn't get there, because everything was quantifiable. Like
Yeah.
I was able to see it. And it was, like I said, SMART goals. So I wanted to lead with that because we've been talking about it, and those plans have helped me in my career, help a ton of people
Mhm.
achieve the goal of home ownership.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to lead in with that. And so, Mike, as I tell everybody, I'm not the best at introductions. I'm pretty good at a few things, but introducing people in this setting, not the best. So you're gonna do a better job at introducing yourself. So tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, that's a great story. I'm probably going to steal that story. So if you hear that come up somewhere and you're like, that sounds familiar, that's me retelling your story. That's an amazing story. But about me, I'm by trade an organizational development consultant slash facilitator. You know, I have a family business. So what that means is I've been around this type of work all my life. My dad started this business back in '86. I was a little guy, but I was around it all my life. And, you know, I try to describe myself for people who kind of can get the metaphor as a coach's son, right? You know, you imagine the coach bringing their kid to practices or to games, and you always see this little kid kind of running around, and then one day, you know, that kid is an athlete or that kid is a coach, and you know, everyone always knew that was going to happen because the kid was just always around his parent or her parent. And I was kind of the same way. You know, I've always done this work, always been in the business of helping people achieve their goals, helping people find success. You know, from a young age, you know, whether it was involved in sports or school, community activities, you know, I've always had the ability to kind of lead people and to help them, you know, get what they wanted to achieve and accomplish their goals. What's up, Leon? I see Leon checking in. And so, you know, that's what I do in my business. I'm a facilitator. You know, I train individuals. A lot of agencies hire me to teach courses on leadership, diversity, strategic planning. I'm a coach. I'm an executive coach and a success coach. So people reach out to me and, you know, they look for some support to help them kind of reach traction on their personal goals, their professional goals. And then, you know, my newest and probably my proudest title is I'm a dad. So
I was gonna get on you, man.
Yeah, you know I wasn't gonna leave that one.
Who you are.
Yeah.
Who you are.
Say the best for last. So, you know, I'm a dad. I'm a person who is older as a first-time dad, right? You know, all of my friends look at me crazy, like, man, we finishing and you just getting started. But, you know, I think. Well, not I think I know, you know, the timing is always what the right timing is supposed to be. And so, you know, I'm at a place in my life where, you know, having her around is the right time for me. And I'm glad that she came into my life and I came into her life at this time because I don't think any other point of my life I'd have been ready. So, you know, I'm a leader, I'm a planner, I'm a thinker, and I'm a dad.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's get into the planner part.
Yeah.
So, as you mentioned, someone checked in and said Mike has the plan with the thumbs up. What is you're known for that? Like, so what does that really mean? Like a plan? What is a plan?
So one of my favorite sayings is I love it when a plan and a party come together, right? And I've always just been the person that wanted to make sure that, you know, whether it's myself, my family, or my friends, we felt comfortable. We got our needs met. We achieved our goals. But some people are used to just kind of going through the motions to do those things. And some people are able to kind of think strategically and think ahead and anticipate what is needed, right? And so I'm the type of person that I'm always thinking ahead, trying to figure out what do we need to make this work? What is it that people need to feel comfortable? What is it that people want? You know, I study psychology in college, and I'm very interested in like human behavior and human motivation, you know, the way people think. So, you know, part of my planning has always been about trying to think about, you know, what is it that a person wants? What do they need? And now how can I create that environment to give them the things that they want and that they need so that they can feel successful, that they can feel good. And so, you know, that doesn't happen just by chance, right? You have to be intentional. You have to be proactive. And so, you know, all my life, I've just kind of adopted that mindset of, you know, I may not be the one to execute, but I want to make sure there's a plan in place. And so, you know, I've just kind of carried that with me through my work and through my relationships.
Got it. And then what kind of type of strategies are there to start a plan? So, and if I'm obviously I know you have a way to frame, these things. But like we're trying to get to a goal, to a destination, because I know you do the vision mapping and things like that.
Yep.
Like what's involved with creating some sort of a plan to get where you're trying to go?
Yeah, so I'm sure you're familiar, and a lot of probably the viewers and listeners are familiar with the habits of highly effective people, and one of those habits is start with the end in mind, right? Where do you want to end up? So, whether it's with a client or a friend or family member, almost starting with closing your eyes and saying, okay, when we achieve this goal, when we arrive at this destination, when we're finished, and we say, yeah, that felt good. That's what I wanted. What do we need to do to get us there? And so the plan is built around where we want to go, right? And so, we have to start with a vision. We have to start with an idea. And I think the easy part for some people is having the idea. The hard part, as you said, is actually taking the time to slow down and write down a plan, to put it to paper, to come up with some options, to think about the resources, come up with a timeline. It's not hard, but sometimes we get so focused on execution that we don't think about strategy and taking the time to work through a full plan.
Got it. And then so tell us about like recently the book been a part of.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more about that. I saw the announcement, I think it was maybe last week or week before. Two things: is the book available?
Book is available. Yeah.
And then secondly, tell us about it, like how it all came about, what the book's all about too as well, and how it can help us.
Yep. So I got the book right here. The book is called Make It Matter: How to Create a Life of Unforgettable Impact, Abundant Fulfillment. So my guy here, Ryan Green, one of my man, he has so many titles in my life. He's a friend, a big brother, a mentor. He's one of the people that gave me one of my first opportunities to do a public speaking engagement. And he has written, I think this is his 10th book. And he has books on leadership and communication. And so we've collaborated a number of times over the years, doing goal setting workshops, vision workshops, leadership workshops. And when he reached out to me to be a part of this project, it was like a no-brainer. And so what it is a collection. There's 17 of us who have chapters on our niche area, right? What our expertise is, from real estate to family planning to, law and legal expertise to communication to parenting, and obviously for me, setting goals. And so each of us, took the time to work through writing a chapter. For me, my chapter is an interview that I had with Ryan, and he posed some questions to me, and we use that for my chapter. And so it's been really a cool process to see how a book comes together, all of the moving parts, the marketing, the publishing aspect of it, something that I'd never been involved with, but it's been really cool, and we've got great feedback. The book is available. We have pre-sales going on right now. We want to try to get the sales before they get to Amazon, because obviously, we keep a little bit more in our pocket by buyers coming directly to us. So there's some links available in all of our social media. But yeah, it's a awesome book, 17 different topics. It's like one-stop shopping. I mean, you get one book and you get access to so much information on a variety of topics, and I think it's really, really powerful.
Got it. And so I really want to, because the folks that are listening here, Mike, we're on a platform where there's a ton of business leaders and professionals that are moving ahead.
Yeah,
not trying. I'm saying they're just attempting and plugging away. Like, what do they say? Like Nike, just do it.
Yes.
Folks are doing that. And so what have you found that have been some challenges to achieve like certain goals, or to, again, we talk about planning, but the planning piece goes into helping you to achieve or accomplish goals. And I keep saying, I say targets, because I like the word target better than goals, but it's essentially the same thing. It's a destination. And so what have you seen to be like some of the obstacles that people face trying to get to where they need to go?
So
you can talk business, like from your leadership experience, companies moving forward, but also down to the individual level too as well.
Yes. So, two quotes that I always use to help people kind of understand the importance of planning and how it kind of helps you to get through those obstacles. Dwight Eisenhower once said that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable, right? Plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Andre 3000 said you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather, right?
Right.
And so those two kind of quotes really speak to what happens is that life happens. Stuff is going to come up, in business. Just think about the past year, COVID. So many people went into 2020 with, 2020 being the year of perfect vision, right? And we went into that year having a good vision and goals or targets, whatever word you want to use. And COVID forced everybody to pivot. And when you pivot, what are you pivoting to? Are those goals not important anymore? Are the things that you said matter to you, do they not matter anymore? Are those people who are going to be impacted, are going to benefit from all those things that you said you wanted to do? Do those things just go out the window because we had an event that happened? No, those things still happen. Those things still matter to us. And so, those plans allow us to adjust, because it's the process, it's the thinking, it's the consideration, it's everything that goes into the planning process, which is the most important part of your plan. The plan can change, your timelines can change, business can change, people can change, money can change, resources can change. But your goals, your plans, the things that hold you constant are the things that are going to keep you driving forward. So, whether we're talking about, non-normative life issues, situations, which is, a psychology term, whether, things happen to individuals, death happens, illness happens, births happen, right? Loss of jobs happen, pandemics happen. All these things happen. I have a good buddy who was living out in Toronto when President Trump took office. He, remember we heard everybody say, "Oh, if Trump wins, I'm moving to Canada," right? Well, I got a guy. He really did that.
Wow.
He moved to Toronto, and when COVID hit, it forced their entire business to have to readjust, and he lost his job because just so many of their things that they relied on weren't able to take place because of COVID. And so he pivoted. He moved. Now he's pursuing his entrepreneurial dream, something that he always wanted to do. But that happens. The only thing constant in life is change. And so, if you don't have something that's going to be your anchor, that's going to be your compass, that's going to keep you moving in the direction that you want to move in, when life changes, you're going to be blowing in whatever direction life blows you. But you have to have some goals, you have to have some vision, you have to have some values that keep you true to who you are and who you want to be.
No, thanks for that. I wrote down, I've been taking notes. Does your plan still matter?
Yeah.
One thing that I really pulled apart, and I must have written down change like 5 times.
Yeah.
Because I think it's human nature to have a hard time adapting to change.
Yep.
Right. And like, as you said, it sounds like, to put it kind of simple, the show must go on.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, like, when things happen, but the show still must go on. So how are you going to pivot and adapt and adjust to those obstacles that fall in your way? Because again, we're trying to get to a destination. So you might have to go around things. You might have to go over them, under them. And so I think the change piece is a constant. And the last thing that I wrote down is the goals, visions, and value.
Yeah.
Like sticking with that and living by that particular code will allow you to get to your destination too well. So so all right, great. And then so like a plan. Do I need this whole 100-page plan that'll take me 2 years to write and 0 days to never read again?
Yeah. No.
Like, how does that work?
No. You know, what I really believe in is short, simple, and sweet, right? You know, you have, you know, we talk about SMART goals, and you know, obviously, SMART goals are really helpful. You know, specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, time-sensitive, whatever words you want to use for that acronym. There are a lot of different words, but your plan is really just, you know, 3 or 4 steps that you want to take or that you are willing to commit to move closer to achieving that goal. And I keep it short because what typically happens is once we start executing on that plan, we realize there are other things that we got to do, and more steps will become apparent to you. And so if you keep it short, then you say, okay, these are 3 or 4 or 5 things that I want to do. Once you check the box on those things, you can always go back and add to that plan. Like your plan should be a living document. I was working with an organization last night doing some strategic planning for their organization. And they had their overarching vision, and then they had objectives, and then they had strategies that they're going to use to reach those objectives. And so, you know, whether you're talking about a corporate level, strategic planning, or just at an individual level for you or you and your family, you know, the simpler it is, the more likely you are going to reach that goal. The more resistance that is required to your goal, meaning the things that make it harder for you to reach that goal, the easier it's going to be for you to give up and not want it to happen. Let me give an example. If I want to go work out.
Hold on, Mike.
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
Yeah. Which part? The resistance?
Yes.
Yes.
That's invaluable to know that you don't want to have too much resistance.
Yeah.
Block you from getting there. But can you repeat that again? What you just?
Yeah. So the more resistance, or another word is the more friction is between you and your goal, the easier it's going to be for you to give up before you actually reach that goal. So, you know, there are studies that show the further away your gym is from your house, the less likely you are to actually go and work out. So folks who have a goal to lose weight, if their gym is less than a mile from their house, they're more likely to go to the gym more frequently than the folks who have, you know, 3 to 5 miles to go. Not because the motivation is any different, not because the desire is any different, but because there's more friction, there's more resistance. I got to think about it a little bit more. You know, some people who like to work out will go to sleep in their gym clothes because that's one less thing that they got to do. You know, they wake up, they already dressed, they can be out the door, right? So with your plans, you want to simplify them so that when you're thinking about them, when you're looking at them, when you're reading them, you don't get overwhelmed just from the thought. You can just say, okay, I can do this. I can knock this out. Keep it simple.
Got it. So I wonder what's holding me back from keeping my Peloton stretch going.
Oh man, that's a whole nother conversation.
Because it's right downstairs in the basement, and I was really excited about it, doing it. But I think the friction that I have is sleep.
Yeah,
lack of sleep, and I try to get up early in the morning. That you know, I get up early, but the goal is to get up earlier.
Yeah.
So that I can work that in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, we man, I got the bike and the treadmill, bro. So you know, we can do it together, bro. You know, that's a big part of who I am. You know, if I don't get my workouts in, like I just don't feel good. So right. You know, I'm in my garage, and like that is a key part of you know my everyday routine.
That's awesome. So, Mike, I heard you mention, and you talked about it. So there's some different types of business planning and goals out there.
Yeah.
Particular goal that I did on the side of the New Jersey Turnpike was a one pager.
Yep.
And it was a 135. And
Yep.
it was, you create a goal, then you have objectives, 3 objectives, and then you have 5 strategies for each objective.
Yep.
And so year over year, I've been taking that one page plan and just doing it. Like each year, like I might expand on it
Yep.
or add new things or take it away. But that's like when I look at things, I look at that one pager, and that's what I'm radically focused on is what's on that one pager.
Yep.
And like I mentioned earlier, if I don't hit the target, I can look at one of the objectives, and I can look at to see if, all right, did I follow the strategy that I put in?
Yep.
Was that quantifiable, or was it like some just vague kind of strategy that I put out there? Like was it smart?
Yeah.
So what I did, and I'm going to offer this up to people in the future and to start working with my homeowners on it, is I created something called 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find at 2 o'clock, things start to get a little slower. Like you get a little bit like sluggish.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of hit a wall during the day.
Yeah.
And so we have to push through that wall. And so we created 2 p.m. and it's preferences, priorities. So that's where the 2 P's come from.
Mm-hmm.
Methods. So your preference is what's your one target, that your goal that you're trying to hit.
Yeah.
Then we did 2 priorities, right, for that goal. And then what are the methods or strategies that you're going to use for each priority to get where you need to go? And we've been doing that with homeowners.
Yeah.
It's been really cool just to hear and to talk about some of the things that they want to do to be able to achieve homeownership.
Yeah. Yeah.
Might be someone that's renting right now and they want to buy in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Right. So what is it going to look like over the next 2 years? Like what preferences are you going to put in place?
Mm-hmm.
Like what priorities are you going to, go after? Like, have you identified what they are?
Yeah.
What strategies are you going to use, or methods are you going to use to get there?
Yeah.
And so that's been working pretty well. And so I guess I wanted to kind of ask you, these types of methods or plans work for just about anything in your life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there is no one model that is the best model for any given situation, right? The one that I think is the best is the one that works best for you. Whether it is the 2 p.m., whether it's 135, my goal setting model is called alerts, awareness, list of goals, evidence of action, resources, timeline, sacrifices, right? Whether you use that model, whether you use a SMART goals model, right? It doesn't matter. What I think is important is that you have an intentional process that you use, that you are comfortable with, and that you can always go back to and look at and track your progress. And I think that's probably where I see most people missing, is that, they have these things in their minds, but because they're not writing them down, because they don't have a model or a process that they're using, when they are forced to pivot, they pivot, and, life happens and we have to pivot. That's fine. But they forget where they started and what they pivoted from. And those things are still important, but they never wrote it down. They didn't have a model. They didn't have any documentation of it. And so instead of pivoting back and starting from where you left off, you pivot back and you're starting from ground zero again, because you forgot where you were. You forgot what you were committed to doing. You forgot why this was even important to you. And so, we can talk about long term, we can talk about short term, we can talk about that daily. I mean, I have a vision for what my day looks like. And, as things come up during the day. And if I'm not clear on what I wanted to achieve with my day, I can go chasing, the thing that popped up or the fires that I got to put out, and I never get back to what I said I wanted to accomplish that day. And it happens to all of us. I mean, that's just a part of being human. So it's nothing wrong with that. But the more that we allow that to happen, the longer it's going to take us to really get traction on achieving our goals and being where we want to be in life.
I love it. I love it. So those that are listening, when you catch the replay, be sure to put some questions and such in the comments. Mike, intentional process and tracking your process, very important piece that I took away from that. So before we wrap up, there's a couple things we'll do, but tell us, how can we help you, and then also how do we get in touch with you? Like how do we contact you or follow you?
Yeah, so my social media is MP Consults, MPCONSULTS. That's all my social media. On my social media, you can go and look at my bio, and I have a link tree where you can register for a coaching consultation if you want a 30-minute free consultation with me and help talk through some of your goals. You can get a link to where you can buy the book, the Make It Matter Project.com. That book is there. If any of you all are working with federal agencies and you need consultants, you need engineers, you need facilitators, you'll have a link to my website, the Powell Consulting Group, with all of our contract vehicles, all of the clients that we've worked with in the past. So, we can help folks from the individual level to the team level to the organizational level. So we go from micro to macro. And so, if you check out any of my social media, you'll know how to find me. But the big thing right now is we want to let folks know about this book, and we want to let folks know about how we can help their organizations.
Sounds good. Thank you. So at MP Consults, on social media, and then the Powell Consulting Group, .com.
That's right.
And then and the name of the book is the
Make It Matter Project.
The Make It Matter Project. Okay, we're gonna get that in the comments as well. So, Mike, before we wrap up, man, it's usually an icebreaker.
Yeah.
This is our closer.
Okay.
This is the part that I really enjoy the most, and how we can see who's listening to the entire thing.
Okay. Okay.
Instead of just listening to the beginning and then signing off.
Yeah.
Mike, you get one person that are alive, right? One question. You could be having breakfast, lunch, coffee, dinner, email, Zoom, whatever you want, or I should say virtual. Zoom's not the only option, but virtual. Shout out to StreamYard, by the way. That's who we use. But one question.
Yeah.
One person. Who would it be, and what would you ask?
What's funny about this question is this is an icebreaker that I use in my classes. And so I've heard so many responses to this question because it's a really, really powerful question and provokes really good conversation. And every time I answer it, I have a different person. So I just have to pick one. So today I'm feeling, you gave us that vibe on that music. So I'm feeling kind of like on a music vibe right now. So I'm going to say Tupac.
We haven't heard that one yet.
Tupac is one of my favorite artists that unfortunately passed away way too soon. But given the climate of this country right now, and everything that is happening, I would be really curious to hear his thoughts on what role rappers and athletes and entertainers should play on impacting the social climate of this country right now. Because I know he was very outspoken, for better or for worse. But we're in a different climate now where a lot of the things that he spoke on have really come to the forefront right now. So I would be curious if he thinks that entertainers have an obligation to help steer that conversation or play a powerful role in helping move our country forward, or does he just think that they should be out to make money for themselves?
I think I know what he would say.
Yeah, me too, but I would love to have a conversation.
Yeah, to hear that would be an amazing soundbite.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Thank you for that. That's good.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time today, Mike. I'm gonna close this thing out, and if you can just hang on with me for a quick second afterwards, I appreciate that. Just we can debrief real quick, but everybody that's listening to this, listen to the replay. Putting Mike's information up on the screen here, and it'll be in the comments too as well. Make sure that you connect with him. A wealth of knowledge, An expert in his field, brilliant at what he does. So thanks for that. Also, if there's anything, like I say every single week, if there's anything that I or we can do in my network to help anyone, please don't hesitate to reach out. If there's a connection that needs to be made, or just anything that you can think of that we can be of assistance for, please don't hesitate to reach out. Stay as safe and healthy as possible. That's still very important right now for us to stay safe and healthy. And then just, I appreciate you for listening, and, we'll see everybody next week. And Mike, thank you for your time again today.
Thank you, sir. Take care, everyone.